Well, South Africa, as we know, continuing to record these high numbers of COVID-19 cases. We've been hearing a lot about businesses as we head into the festive season and, of course, this fourth wave. Let's try and find out how many of these businesses we can help this morning, especially with potentially tightening restrictions. Devan Moonsamy from the ICHAF Training Institute joining us to discuss how possibly, Devan, we can, as a business, make our way through this fourth wave. We've had 3 of them to learn from, but it still seems that businesses are very, very concerned. Rightly so, I imagine. Good morning.
Very good morning to you, Gareth.
So tell me about how businesses are able to get through this fourth wave. I would imagine over the last year and a half, some would have found a couple of tricks, but I'm sure there's still businesses and business owners that are still very nervous. What advice do you have?
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty. As you said, although we've gone through it previously, a lot of businesses still meet it with a lot of frustration and a lot of anxiety. And potentially, I would imagine, as we've been speaking to some of our clients and other learners in this business sector, a lot of panic and perhaps even taking some sort of contingency. But what we can say, though, is for these organizations to rather focus and become quite agile and innovative at this time and don't panic, because that's what we've seen happen with other organizations and small businesses in the country, where people became so panicked and business owners really buckled under the pressure and in some cases didn't quite survive through the third wave or the second wave.
I imagine, though, Devan, one argument could be from a business owner, especially a small business owner, is just the uncertainty, because plans could have been in place already ahead of the festive season, Christmas, New Year's, but we never quite know what's going to happen with the lockdown levels. And that could, of course, throw any plans a business owner has right out the front door.
You see, one of the cornerstones of running a successful business would be the ability to adapt when things go wrong. So the ability to be able to pick up and to move consistently and flow and still provide the customers with quality customer service, being able to get the product to the customer. And why we encourage businesses really to look at it from this perspective and still remain sustainable. It could be COVID, the fourth wave now. It could be something else in the future. It could be another thing in June the following year. You see, this gives us an opportunity for organizations to now think very strategically around how we navigate through these unforeseen. So no matter how much we preempt, sometimes things do go wrong. However, if we are more prepared, then we're able to hold the fort together, as it were.
When we talk about being unprepared, Devan, are you able to give me an example, and perhaps one comes to mind, of a business, let's say third wave or second wave, that didn't quite know how to, I think the word we all used was pivot at the time, that you were able to then assist and go, guys, this is actually how you need to change your business angle, and it's actually worked. Got an example for me?
The examples we could use is now bringing product to customers through online systems. So manual systems like taking calls or messages, it also requires levels of training. So what some organizations didn't do was they didn't focus enough on learning and development in that moment to try and upskill their people, to get them to start thinking about functioning in the new normal and the COVID world. So I would say, an example would be organizations who are resistant to moving into the online space and now looking at other ways to bring different service offerings and other products to their consumers, had to then train very quickly, then had to get used and comfortable to the whole new process and system. And then some were able to actually very successfully continue with delivering their services and getting their products out there. Whereas in other cases with some organizations that we've seen, that they weren't as successful because they simply weren't on the money in terms of training, and I would say moving into a whole different platform. And one example we could use is the online, or making products accessible via contactless deliveries and so forth.
Devan, just a last question perhaps before I let you go. This morning, I would imagine there's a business owner sitting down watching you and I have this discussion, but they are in that panic state. Perhaps they feel it's a little too late into the year to make any changes. The panic sets in, the blinders go on, and they can even get a little bit stuck. What are you telling that business owner this morning?
It's very important to remember that getting people prepared as far as PPE is concerned, communicating to your customer that we're 100% ready for business and now we're ready and we're rearing to welcome our Christmas shoppers into our business pool. I think it's important to communicate through your platforms. Get your people ready, then communicate, get your staff trained as well before this process actually happens. And then you'll find that the panic stations start to dissipate a little bit more. Also speak to your people about getting vaccinated. Put up signs in the organization informing the customer that we are all fully vaccinated, and these are the people that will be engaging with you at touch points, because there is a little bit of nervousness from the customer perspective as well. So if we then stick to this in terms of communicating, preparedness, getting everybody upskilled, and really expressing to the customer that we are COVID safe and ready business, you should be able to navigate through this very uncertain time.
Well, some free advice this morning from Devan Moonsamy. Thank you very much indeed, Devan.